guys, how's it going? It's Al. We are going to take a look at DraftKings Week 3 and NFL DFS every single Friday. I do an AMA with my chat on Twitch. We talk for about 40 minutes to an hour, and then we put that video over here for you viewers on YouTube who wanted to catch that conversation. If you want to be a part of that conversation, you got to go check out the stream on Twitch. You will show up in the chat, and you get to be part of the show. We go over every question that they may have. We're going to go through the core of what the cash game lineup should look like this week, at least not like my cash game plays, just these are the plays that are going to be the highest owned players in cash games this week. We're going to take a look at some tournament strategy, where we should stack. We're going to build a pick'em on Underdog Fantasy. We're going to take a little bit of a look at Rainmakers. It's a mishmash. We do whatever it is to talk about for the weekend, and we try to raise some money for charity. Coach Cornbread, thank you very much for the $50 donated to No Kid Hungry, and we get it all done on this show. So thank you all for being here, and let's go.
He's a legend.
The Week 3 Smiz Gang Listener League is just like the Week 2 Smiz Gang Listener League was. It is a 4,000 entrant $10 tournament, 3 max. You can only enter 3 lineups, but there's absolutely no rake. It is the #1 best tournament that exists on DraftKings because there is no rake. It pays out 10% of the prize money to first. It gives you 10% of first place goes to 10th place. I shout out the top 10 finishers on the Monday recap video on the Fantasy Football channel. Links to the Listener League, the football channel, our Discord, the Twitch stream, everything are in smizzle.tv/links. I am going to advise you, if you're watching this video on Friday or early on Saturday morning, the Listener League is going to fill, and it's going to fill early. So if you want to get in, you have to get in now. It's tracking to fill somewhere between like noon to 5 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. So if you want to get in it, you got to get in it early. And the earlier we fill it, I can go to DraftKings and say, hey, y'all should make this bigger because we're filling it every single week. The Smiz Gang is very strong in these Listener League streets. So let's get to the questions that chat has for us today. How do you find it? Smizzle.tv/links. It is right down below. It's like literally right down there in the pinned comment, or if you click show more on the description, it's in there too. You cannot miss where the Listener League is. It's literally the cheese is under the sauce. Should you stack Dalvin Cook with a quarterback? No. Dalvin Cook and his quarterback can work together. He has been involved in the passing game well enough in the first few weeks. However, he is not going to receive 15 to 20% of the market share of the targets. He is not going to be utilized in the passing game the same way that a Christian McCaffrey or an Austin Eckler is. So at best, he's neutral correlation with the quarterback. If you're going to use not Christian Kirk, but Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, you need to kind of go through the guys that are going to get the most of his touchdown passes. Okay. That's kind of how you have to do things. Lowest owned stack that I like. So quarterbacks are never really highly played, right? That's not really a thing that happens. So you have to find the players at pass catcher positions, wide receiver, tight end, that are going to give you some leverage over the field. The easiest way to do that, typically speaking, is to find the running backs that everybody is going to gather on and then utilize them, right? Go against that. So like if you were to try and figure out who are going to be the most played running backs this week, right? Like I'm kind of peeking over here at my projections and Fantasy Lab and ETR and everything else on my other screen to try and figure out who are the highest played guys on projection. So like Leonard Fournette, David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs looks like he is going to be about 18%, projecting to 18%. Damian Pierce at 17%. So like if you wanted to leverage the field, play the passing groups around those high played, highly rostered running backs. It's an easy way to get contrarian. Should you stack any quarterback with their running back? Not really. I will use certain guys, right? I will use guys like Eckler. I won't force them, but like I'll allow Eckler if I'm going to build Baker stacks. I'm not really building Baker stacks, but if I was to build Baker stacks, I would allow Christian McCaffrey to be in those stacks because he potentially is a 20% of the market share type guy, and that's what you're looking for. You want players like that. Which of the top 5 stacks do I think is most fragile? From the top stacks video, probably the puke stack. That's easily the most fragile, right? Like it could go 0. But like there was I did a thread on Twitter yesterday where I went over all of the things. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't like doing Twitter threads. It's not my favorite thing in the world. I really don't like doing them. However, I understand that the way that Twitter works, it's something that you almost have to do because the threads get like 4 times as much impressions as everything else. So like, if I want my tweets to be seen, I kind of have to do threads. It sucks, and I don't want to do it. I hate it. I hate the thread meta. It's the worst thing that has happened to Twitter literally ever. But here was the thread. Why we double stack, with all the reasons why we double stack. Playing GPPs, I don't care if a lineup finishes in last. I really don't. And you have to not care either. There is as much value in finishing in the 70th percentile in tournaments as there is in finishing in the 0 percentile in tournaments. It pays the same. So you have to take risks. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You will never have success if you stay in your comfort zone, right? Success is not comfortable. So you have to do some things that you don't think might work sometimes. If you are honestly taking the swings at coming in on the top of the list, right? So like there was a saying in poker, if you don't get caught with your hand in the cookie jar, you're not playing good enough poker. If you're never bluffing, if you're never taking shots at pots, you don't win. You're just folding and waiting for the nuts, and then you never get paid because unless you're coolering somebody. So you have to take shots at double stacks, bringbacks. You have to take shots at these things. And here's why. You have to score 225 to 250 points to realistically have a shot to win the Millionaire Maker. You should only care about ceiling possibilities and not floors. So attacking large field tournaments, I try to find ways to get there. So I want that double stack bringback. You guys know what it is. Double stacks is a quarterback with 2 of their pass catchers, bring it back with somebody on their side. The math of those things is very simply this. When you isolate to a quarterback ceiling game, I'm defining those as a quarterback who has 30 or more DraftKings points. Okay? We've looked back the last 3 years. I can look back further, but honestly, the data is all going to be the same. There's not going to be like some drastic change where suddenly from 2015 to 2018, double stacks didn't happen or 30-point DraftKings games didn't happen. This is the state of the NFL for the last 12 years. So when a quarterback scores 30 or more points, it's something that has happened 157 times in those 53 weeks. So like 3 times a week in general, on average. And on average, those quarterbacks who have scored 30 plus DraftKings points average 34.4. So the next question is like, what happens? Well, you know, if I play a double stack and my quarterback has 18 points, then it's useless. Right. But that would have been useless anyway. If you played that quarterback solo, you aren't winning a tournament anyway. So who cares? That's your 70th percentile lineup. And you feel real good about yourself because you scored 155 points and you made no money. I'll take my lineups that score 60, but actually have a shot at 225 or 250. The double stack that is attached to that has been a pass catcher 83.4% of the time, has been a wide receiver, and has averaged 29.5 DraftKings points. The secondary receiver, the pass catcher 2, has been a wide receiver 70% of the time and has averaged 17.7 points. That's 81.5 DraftKings points between those 3 players across that sample size of 57 games. The bringback player has averaged 24.6 DraftKings points. Been a wide receiver that much, 34% of the time it's a running back, 10% of the time it's a tight end. 4 slots in your lineup averaging 106.1 points. Okay, so winning tournaments is hard, and the double stack bringback puts you in a little bit better position to have a chance to win tournaments when the thing that you want to happen happens. And it's literally starts with your quarterbacks. People ask me like, where do you start when you're building lineups for tournaments? I start at the quarterback. What quarterback has a realistic shot of getting me 30 DraftKings points? And it's a lot of them. But which one of those stacks can get there? And now I'm looking at things like, percentage played and how unique is that stack and whatever else. More status not known yet. So Rondale Morris, who chat is talking about, rumors are that he's not going to play. He did not practice on Thursday. We'll see if he practices on Friday. I don't think he's going to play. If Rondale Moore plays, he's 3,600. Okay, he's 3,600 if he does play. And if you want to go after him, if he plays, he's going to play. It's funny. Rondale Moore, if he plays, will play the Greg Dortch role. That's a good role in that offense. That should have been Rondale Moore's role, and it just kind of isn't because he's been hurt. Let's take a look at the cash game core for this week. You guys down with that? You want to look at the cash game core? Is Jacksonville D viable if there's no Herbert? 100%. They'll probably be the most popular defense. If Herbert does not go, Jacksonville's defense is 100% going to be, okay, y'all want to see the cash game core. Here's the cash game core for this week. And I want to stipulate that these are what every projection system that I've looked at, from Establish the Run, Fantasy Labs, rotogrinders. You can compile them, you can aggregate them, you can look at them individually. These are the guys who they are projecting to be the most played plays in cash games. So this is the cash game core for week 3. Starting at quarterback, it's going to be Jalen Hurts at 7,600. If you have enough money, if you have 600 more and you want to go up to Josh Allen, that's just fine. Typically, we look to pay down a little bit at quarterback, but the running quarterbacks have such a high floor and the possibility for a high ceiling. Washington's defense is not very good. 25 probable points incoming from Jalen Hurts, because that's just what he's been averaging since being the starting quarterback. David Montgomery is coming in very high. Also coming in very high is Leonard Fournette. I think that Montgomery is in a better spot than Fournette based on the offenses that they're playing. And Fournette is going to get volume. We know that for sure. But that offense projects much better when all of the receivers are there. And right now, literally none of the receivers are there. Their top 3 wide receivers, probably not going to play this week. From Evans being suspended to Godwin to Julio Jones. The other 2 not practicing. We'll check the Friday practice report when it comes out. But if those 3 guys are out, it kind of downgrades Fournette to me. So that leaves Montgomery in there. Steph Diggs is $1,300 underpriced. Minimum, he's $1,000 underpriced. This should be an $8,700 wide receiver. He's $7,700. This has nothing to do with playing whack-a-mole and chasing the Monday Night Football outcome. If you take a look at who he played on week 1, and I know that I'm going to get this in replies, aren't you afraid of him being covered by Xavier Howard? No, I'm not. Okay, first of all, the projections that you're using, the matchup is already baked into them, so don't double count the same thing twice, right? So he's already been docked for that matchup. It's not a matchup that's hurt him in the past. Go look at his game logs against Miami from last year. Also, look what he did to Jalen Ramsey in week 1. He went for 8 of 9, so efficiency wasn't a problem. Volume wasn't a problem, for 122 and a tutty. So I kind of don't care. Some guys are matchup proof. Some offenses are matchup proof. Some coaches do a really good job of scheming their guys into open spots. All of those things are in play for Steph Diggs, and he's, again, 1,000 underpriced. And Irv Smith gets that Monday night discount because he was priced on Sunday night, coming off of this week 1 performance when they only played him like 35% of the snaps to take it easy on him in week 1 because he wasn't fully ready. He was fully deployed against Philadelphia, played a full complement of snaps, ran a route on a ton of Kirk Cousins dropbacks. He should be about 3,800, 3,900. He's 3,100. And it's not, again, not a result of what he did by scoring a touchdown. He actually missed another touchdown. If he doesn't score this touchdown, 8 targets at tight end for 3,100 against Detroit would still be too cheap. So Irv Smith is in play there. There's your cash game core. It all starts here. Then build out whatever you want. If you wanted to build from there, I know a lot of people in chat are probably wondering. I haven't even looked over at chat, but I can feel you. I can feel you right over here. They're all over in chat going, what about Amon-Ra St. Brown? Fine, play Amon-Ra St. Brown. Right? Like, every optimizer is going to tell you to play Leonard Fournette. Monitor that situation going forward. You still have 4K and a defense. You can plug any defense you want. We talked about the Jaguars in the case that, like, Herbert's out. So then you have the Jaguars defense, 23, and you still have 4,800 for a wide receiver in the flex. Y'all could do this. It's not that hard, right? Building cash games, not that hard. Extremely straightforward this week with at least this core of 4 players. Accurate. Yes, that's the cash game core. Yes, exactly. Is it too cute to get off Irving Cash? If you're going to get off Irving Cash, where are you going? I would assume you're going to 2,900 for Juwan Johnson, right? Which is fine, but you're giving up points on optimal. Higbee, then you'd have to find a value wide receiver, and I don't think that there are value wide receivers right now. I believe that Higbee and look, Higbee's great right now. And the reason Higbee's great right now is a very specific thing, okay? So don't take this as any knock on Higbee, because there's other guys who are good in this range. If we're looking at, this isn't around the way for me to talk about tight ends in this 5,000 to 4,000 range. Like, first of all, Hurst is getting a good amount of volume up against the Jets. he's going to be kind of an every week tournament viable play. I don't think you need him in cash this week. Hawkinson, because he scored no touchdowns, is flying drastically under the radar. His price has gone from 4,900 to 4,200. But what's changed? Has anything changed about Hawkinson from pre-week 1 to now? Absolutely nothing's changed. He got 7 targets in both of those weeks. This price is entirely too cheap. So he's solid too. Talked about Higbee and why he's really good right now. 20 targets through 2 weeks is somewhat absurd. I think that sustains until, okay? The until is when Van Jefferson comes back. Right now, he is running a lot of routes. He is playing all the snaps at tight end, and he has to be utilized because the Rams typically utilize a 3 pass catcher system. Those 3 pass catchers are very typically wide receivers. Right now, they only have 2. It's Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. Behind them, Van Jefferson is the guy. Ben Skoranek cannot get open enough. Like, he's just kind of a guy out there. He's not a special wide receiver. He is merely filling a uniform and running routes and wind sprints and getting some cardio in on Sundays. And they're utilizing Tyler Higbee because of the absence of Van Jefferson. As long as Van Jefferson stays out, Tyler Higbee stays up, in my opinion. When Van Jefferson comes back, we are going to abandon ship on Tyler Higbee at that point. Everett is a tournament-only play for me. Not really a cash game guy. 10 targets was great in that week. I think he's got touchdown expectation every week, but there's going to be less consistency, right? So this 14, then this 13. Like, we're not going to see him average 13 points a game. It's going to fluctuate. Some weeks he'll have 17. Some weeks he's going to have 6. But he's priced at a point where 6 kind of actually hurts you in this range. Zach Ertz has been quite good. Goddard is going to be a week in, week out thing. But I prefer the 2 pass catchers on the outside to Goddard. There will be a week where Goddard probably wins somebody a tournament because he's going to have a 2 touchdown, 90-yard, 8 catch week. I just predicting when that week is impossible. And Kyle Pitts is a great tournament play because everybody is abandoning ship and the price has gone down. This is what, remember what I said at the beginning of the show about you have to get out of your comfort zone? Everybody is comfortable right now saying that Kyle Pitts is overrated and Kyle Pitts sucks. It's been 2 weeks, y'all. He has still not scored a touchdown in the 48 contiguous, but at some point that's going to change. He's playing a ton of snaps. He's running an elite amount of routes per dropback. And schematically, they just have to find ways to get him the football, whether they force him the football, whether he's the primary read, or whatever they do. So the amount of routes that he's running, and as good an athlete as he is, they're going to find ways to get him the ball. And it's not going to happen when he's on a hot streak. Okay? So you want to buy players. This is when you want to buy players for tournaments. When their performance is subpar, but the underlyings remain solid. And Kyle Pitts' underlying metrics in terms of routes run at the position, upside, breakaway threat, big game possibility, and ceiling opportunity remain high. But the price has gone from 5,700 to 4,800, which provides us now a salary opportunity. Also, everybody has left, right? Nobody's left at the Kyle Pitts party. Everybody has abandoned ship. That's when you want to get in. When the price has come down and the crowd has left, giving you a big leverage opportunity percentage-wise in tournaments. He's not a cash game play, but in tournaments, there is no spot better than when the price and the percentage has gone down on a player. And that's why Kyle Pitts remains a really solid tournament play, because of his ceiling possibility and the amount of routes that he's running. They'll figure it out. They will. I know this is a long video. I appreciate you guys being here. If you would take a couple of seconds and drop a like on the video, that would be greatly appreciated. The goal is to get 10% of the likes per view. So if this video has 10,000 views, we got to get at least 1,000 likes. If it gets 20,000 views, we got to get 2,000 likes. I appreciate you guys being here. Subscribe to the channel. I come out with 8 videos a week on the main channel and another 6 over on the fantasy football channel at smizzle.tv/ff. Ring the notifications bell so that you don't miss anything that I do on both channels. And let's get back to the video. Kadarrell Hodge week. Really? Sanders and Hurts in cash. I'm not against it, but if you wanted to get off of that, you could easily go. Like, there's running backs in that range. There's a lot of running backs. Like Michael Carter is 51. You've got Sanders at 55. Jacobs is 54. Like, there's options in that range if you're not comfortable doing that. How should hundo lineups be built compared to cash? So very simply, you're talking about like the 100-man GPPs, the smaller field GPPs that we should be going with, right? You guys should be attacking, especially smaller bankrolled players. Rondell Moore ruled out now, as we thought it would be, right? Before that news broke, I said we're not expecting him to play. So nothing has changed with that news. We're just sure that Greg Dortch is going to run 80% plus of routes from the slot. So for hundo lineups, you're going to start with somewhat of a, you can do it two ways. All right. The way that I think most people should do it, especially if you're just starting out, is to start with your cash game core and then build correlation around that. Okay. So exclude the quarterback when we're talking about that cash game core. So if we start with like Montgomery, Diggs, right? And then who do we say? Irv Smith. One, you're going to want to get some differentiation. You can stomach having some chalk. If you want to get completely off the chalk, play a different running back so you don't have a chalk running back. But like, you can. How do we correlate around this type of lineup? Well, you can do one of two things. You can either play a Kirk Cousins stack with it around your Irv Smith and have a bring back player on the other side, or you can play Josh Allen with it instead of him, have Diggs in that lineup, and then, I don't know, find a wide receiver on Miami. Do they have any good ones? Like that might have like kind of a good ceiling that could possibly win you a tournament, especially considering that Bills might be playing without their best, highest pressure defensive linemen and calling up cornerbacks from the practice squad. That doesn't seem like a really great idea when you have to defend some pretty good wide receivers on the other side. So like if you were to build out a cash game type lineup, high floor, high ceiling plays around correlation, and then maybe find a bring back play in there that we could go with from Minnesota, Detroit. Is there anybody on Detroit that we could probably bring back on that other side? I think you could probably find something in that range to get there and then find a way to make that lineup work. So it's basically starting with a high floor, high ceiling core and then correlating a little bit more for tournaments, whether it's with a skinny stack or a double, because beating 100 people is much easier than beating 100,000. If you get 200 points in 100 man, you're going to have a winning expectation, like the whole thing, like first or second, as opposed to like the Millionaire Maker. We're going to have to run perfect at 9 spots and have 250 to win that whole thing. For small cash, should you pick lineups from the most popular games that week? You should pick the best players for cash, period. End of story. That's it. It's really that easy. When creating your pool of quarterbacks, are there any other factors besides ceiling that may have you include a quarterback that may have a mid-20 ceiling? I like games that have a possibility to shoot out, because that goes beyond projections, right? So I'm looking for areas where I can get different combinations. How can I find 2 or 3 pass catchers that are going to be under 10% as a part of that stack? And does that 2 or 3 pass catchers as a part of that stack have a possibility for all 3 of them to have 20 plus DraftKings points? And what would the story be if that happens? And if that's the case, then that quarterback goes along the lines of that. How many quarterbacks do I average in my pool? So that's kind of a salt to taste issue. It's not that I mind telling you, but I don't think that people have to do what I do. Does that make sense? I'd rather you build lineups that are good, that are built a specific way, as opposed to playing the players that I say to play. Or, well, Al says he uses X amount of quarterbacks. I use less than most people. See, you have 19 quarterbacks and you're 150. I don't do that. I want to have as many opportunities at getting stacks. Like I usually don't have more than 8. Some weeks I play 5. I pick the double stacks that I want. I pick the quarterbacks that I want. And if I have a wide receiver that I really like outside of the quarterbacks that I'm using, I will make sure that I boost that guy and have a secondary stack with them if I don't feel that I need the quarterback, you know? Outside Pittman, who's a good stack option on the Colts? The rookie, maybe. If you're double stacking them, then you probably you're saying that the Kansas City double is too expensive for you, right? Let's clear this. So you're saying that the Kansas City double with like Kelsey and Mahomes and anybody else, whether it's Juju or MVS or whatever, is too expensive. Then you're looking at like Alec Pierce is back. He practiced fully on Wednesday. When both him and Doolin were there, he ran way more routes than Doolin, even though Doolin had a good amount of targets in week 1. He may very well operate as the wide receiver 3 or wide receiver 4, possibly behind Paris Campbell in that situation. So like, it's sketchy once you get past them, right? It's really sketchy. You just love Matt this week. Okay, that's fair. And that's usually my answer. Like, people say, what about this guy that you didn't mention? You see, okay, yeah, go for it. If you have conviction on a play, if you think, look, if your belief is that Matt Ryan is going to throw for 330 yards, you know, he threw for 350 in week 1. If you think he's going to throw it 40 plus times, throw for 350 and like 3 touchdowns, then yeah, in that scenario, where do you project the targets to go? And then I would just play the guy that I project to have the most targets or end zone targets, give me the most touchdown upside. When you're doing head to head, how many different rosters? I play one lineup, dude. I'll accept the variance. I don't play cash anymore, really. Right? I'll make a cash game lineup because content, right? I'm farming crowns. Like if they give me a reward, they give me a mission for like a 250 or a 400, I'll throw something in a 50-50 just to farm those crowns cheaply and have a profitable expectation. But like at high stakes, cash games are way less viable than they used to be. But at low stakes, if you're playing $1, $2, $3, $5 head-to-heads, it's still extremely viable. And if you are going that direction, then people are going to make massive mistakes. So if you don't make mistakes in your cash game, if you're playing a good lineup, you're playing the best plays at every position that's going to jam in as many projectable points at floor, median, and ceiling as is entirely possible, let other people make mistakes. And some weeks you're going to lose, but most weeks you're going to win. And some of those weeks you're going to win huge and sweep the field with your one lineup. Would it be Smart, Pittman, and Taylor with Ryan? That's a rare stack that is very difficult to make work. Taylor does not correlate with Matt Ryan. Like he's a negative correlation piece with Matt Ryan. It doesn't mean that it can't happen, right? We've seen Derrick Henry, who is extremely negatively correlated historically with Ryan Tannehill, have games where he has 25 to 35 DraftKings points and Tannehill throws for 3 touchdowns and runs for 1 and is also viable, but it is what it is. Can I show the thing on cash games on DK where you limit how many unique opponents you play? It's on this. It's a drag down menu. It's a very simple drag down menu. Like after you create your contest, you go to create a game, create a contest. You pick NFL. You click classic. You want the 13 game slate. You want it to be public, head to head. You pick as many games as you want. When you go here, it's not there because you're only playing one game, so you can only have one opponent. Once you pick multiples, it says set opponent limit right down here. You just click from unlimited 1. Now, of the 5 games that I'm about to make, which I'm not going to make, but if I was going to make 5 games or if I was going to make 50 games, I would not have more. Nobody can take more than one of these games off the board. I can't get matched with more than one opponent at the $5 level. But if I also add $10 games, you could have the same opponent once at 5 and once at 10. That's how you add that in there. That's the easiest way to do it. You heard head-to-heads aren't getting taken this season? I mean, you're going to get matched. If you leave them up there, they're either going to get taken off the board by somebody who just grabs a head-to-head, or you're going to get matched at lineup lock with whoever else has head-to-heads taken. You know, whoever has head-to-heads posted. You're going to get matched up with whoever has that. Let's build something on Underdog. Let's go over to Underdog Fantasy. If you guys have not been there, go to smizzle.tv/underdog, or you can just navigate to the site. On your first deposit to Underdog Fantasy, you will receive, if you use that promo code ALSMIZZLE, ALSMIZZLE, all one word at checkout, you'll get up to $100 deposit bonus on your first deposit to the site. Who should we go with here? We were just talking about this game, right? We're just talking about Casey Indy, so let's build one here. I like overs because overs are more fun. I don't want to bet unders. So I'm going to go with, should I go with 2.5 passing? No, I'm going to go this. You can only bet 1 per player, okay? So I'm going to go, you know what? This one I think is softer. He runs. He'll run for like between 15 and 35 yards in a game. I think that boosts that. Let me get over 302 total yards. That's passing plus rushing. I want Kelsey in this matchup if I can. Yeah. Half PPR on Underdog Fantasy. Let's find somebody on the other side. Higher than 240 yards. And who else? Alec Pierce. Higher than 24. We're going to do this one for $50. Submit. You could take insurance if you want, but I'm going all in on this one. I want that 10x. There's our card. It's that easy. Go over and check out everything that they have. They also have a great game called Battle Royale, which is a 6-man, 6-round draft, right? The Battle Royale, 250,000 in prizes. And you basically draft teams like you would in best ball, but it plays in daily fantasy. Great way to have an option to win some money where it's only $5 per entry fee. And it's fun to draft. I do these like Friday afternoons when I'm just kind of chilling out. Bill Gates wants me to restart my computer. I'm literally streaming right now, Bill. I'm not doing that. Mahomes isn't running? Okay. 2-game sample sizes are fun. Go look at him career. You know, we can look at any 2-game sample. That's like saying Christian McCaffrey can't catch passes anymore. Look at what he did the last 2 games. NDD is going to get wrecked. That's what it looks like. Steve Jobs would never ask you that. Who's my favorite contrarian stack this week? The puke stack. Gratuitous Windows, please. Yes. When we stack Burrow this weekend, shall we meet at the win to count our monies? So everybody, look, there's reasons. I think Cincinnati's stack is extremely interesting. One, they're playing the Jets, right? They're playing the Jets. And we know what Burrow's upside is, right? We know what his upside is. We know that it's like 300 plus yards and like 4 touchdowns. We know that that's like a massive ceiling game for him. He is a pocket plus quarterback, so he can add stuff with his legs as well. We're not getting a lot from him with his legs, but like he can add from time to time. But when we use him, there's 3 guys. One that everybody's gravitating to this week, and that's T. Higgins, right? Everybody's gravitating towards T. Higgins. He's 6,100. We quoted this stat earlier in the week that like T. Higgins since week 12 of last year is averaging more catches and more yards per game on a higher catch rate than is Jamar Chase. And he's like 2K cheaper. So like T. Higgins is in consideration for cash games this week on top of having great tournament upside, right? So he's one. I mentioned in the tight end portion that we were talking about that Hayden Hurst is fine. 15 targets through 2 games. Don't mind him. I'm not stacking more than 2. I'm just using this for an example, but nobody's going to play Jamar Chase this weekend. It is my contention that Jamar Chase is good at football. I think he's a good football player. I think he's an impactful football player. I think that he has massive touchdown upside and big playability. That's just me. You may feel differently, but everybody's being drawn to other places. And the reason that everybody's being drawn to other places is pricing. It's one way to be contrarian is to look at everybody around him. At 8,100, some are paying up for Cooper Kupp, some are paying up for Justin Jefferson. They're always going to have percentages on them. It's just the way that it goes. But like for 400 cheaper, people are going to Steph Diggs, and for good reason. Tyreek Hill coming off of a slate breaking week is 7,600 and correlates really well with Diggs. AJ Brown going up against Washington, terrible, correlates really well with Hurts. Waddle is the cheaper version of Tyreek Hill. You also have Keenan Allen coming back this week. Like there's a lot that's lower. And also Amon-Ra St. Brown, if he gets 8 or more catches, will break the league record of consecutive games with 8 or more catches. Like there's a lot of plays at or below Jamar Chase's 8,100 price, which is really making him underplayed in week 3. Watch the Saturday video. Garrett Wilson bring back. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I also think that's going to be the more populous one, right? I think that that's going to be an extremely popular one. So I think that Elijah Moore is probably the sharper play coming back if you wanted to get off of Wilson. Wilson is projected at 0.83. No way. There's no way. Helmuth, thank you for the 61 months. G. Farwell, thank you for the 27. Chris Donaldson, thank you for the 10. I think that Moore is going to be super duper low. Does Sauce Gardner impact Chase at all? But like, I don't like, I'm aware of wide receiver cornerback matchups, but I don't weight them like massively. They're already baked into projection. All I care about is ceiling. I could see Wilson going much higher. I could see Wilson going between 7 and 12. 0.83 is not happening. Mahomes is like 4%. Like there's never more than like 3 quarterbacks that are over 5. Quarterbacks are always very spread out in tournaments, guys. T or Waddle, who do we like more? I personally like Waddle because I think T comes in at a higher percentage and they both have a very similar ceiling. Goff double and Cincy secondary for the Millies. Don't hate it. You won a Darius Slade Jr. legendary last night in Showdown. Very cool. Should you hold it or sell? You never be able to accumulate a legendary lineup. So if you're talking about Rainmakers specifically here for a second, if you don't know what Rainmakers is, DraftKings Rainmakers is a card game not unlike FIFA or Madden Ultimate Team, if you've played those games for the last decade plus, where you have a deck of cards on DraftKings. You can make lineups out of those cards and play against other people for real money. So it's a really fun game. Everybody has a free pack waiting for them on DraftKings. You might as well open it. There are 5 tiers. You start at Core, which is the cheapest tier. Then you move to Rare, Elite, Legendary, Rainmaker. And the prices go up as you move up in tiers. You can play at whatever level you want. You can build a good core lineup this week for like $50 or less. And the cards that you get, you can use in future weeks. If you have not dipped your toes into the game, open your free pack, see if you can build out a lineup for whatever you need left at core, and play around with it. Go check out the videos that we have on the channel to kind of walk you through starting. And every Tuesday on the Fantasy Football channel, I come out with we look at the optimal lineup in core and how much it would cost. Right now, this week, I think it was like $75. And again, there's no buy-ins to the games in Rainmaker. The buy-ins are the cards that you hold. So why don't we go look at Rainmakers? Let's go build a core lineup from what I have in my thing. Okay, let's do that. It'll be fun. I swear it'll be fun. So you click on this button. If you don't have a card, it'll send you to the marketplace. You can buy them. We're gonna sort by this. I can use any card in core because players can play down, but superstars can't play up. Like you see, I have this Josh Allen legendary. I cannot play this in the highest Rainmaker tier. I can play it in legendary, or I can play it in anything below it. But like, it would be kind of a waste of this card to play it in core. So I'm looking for my best core cards. I have a Jalen Hurts core. We're going to play him. Let's go to running back. Who do we have at running back? I'm going to play this Jonathan Taylor down. I have a Cooper Kupp that I could play down as well. But I have this Tyreek Hill core. I have a Jalen Waddle core. And then I have a flex position that I could play. I want to find a core one. And you cannot play two superstars in one lineup. You see this S by Taylor? So I can't play Justin Jefferson or Cooper Kupp in a lineup with them. There's only one superstar per lineup. So let me find ooh, Curtis Samuel's been doing really well. Cannot play these chase cards with him. I have a rare and elite there. Ooh, I have Garrett Wilson though. He's pretty good. Could play him. Mark Andrews, do we have a core? Nope. Got higher tiers of his. Elam, Dotson, Mike Williams, Patterson, Eckler. Myers is projecting really well, but missed a couple of practices this week. I like him as a high floor play. Do I have anything that correlates? I have a Buffalo. Where's my Buffalo player? There we go. Davis. And these are all for sale on the market. So like I could throw this Davis in there and then I can edit it. So like these are all cards that I had in my thing. This is a $5,000 to first tournament, $50,000 fiat frenzy. I got these 5 cards. Let's toss them in. Boom. Paid no more money this week. Those are all cards that we pulled. And here's my other ones. As you can see, I've got a really good lineup. The Mahomes is not showing up. This is a sick lineup with Patrick Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, Steph Diggs, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce. This plays up in the legendary tier. There's only 57 people trying to win another seat to the World Championships in New Orleans. You're winning the fiat? I hope you do, man. We had somebody take down one of the tournaments last night in Rainmakers in the HQ. If you wanted to talk more about, surround yourself with people that are into Rainmakers and into NFTs and stuff like that, go check out the Smiz Gang HQ key. You can find that through that same link, smizzle.tv/links. We'll have that for you. You can go there. It is right here, right? It's got my Twitch, Instagram, Listener League link that we talked about at the top of the show. Join the Discord, Smiz Gang HQ NFT. Please only use my links because I'm sure there will be fake ones that pop up. It's 0.1 Ethereum. To join that community as a part of our Discord, and you can surround yourself with our great community of people talking about Rainmakers plays and market plays, because Rainmakers is a market game first with NFT DFS games attached to it to help you play to make money on your cards. So like you have to treat it like a market game. So all my market advice is locked behind this token part of our Discord. What does cash look like this week? We already did that. That was earlier in the show. We already did that. We talked about the cash game core and where to go with it. Eric donated while I was doing that whole spiel. $50 to No Kid Hungry. Thank you very, very much. I really appreciate that. Took down a $1 single entry in Showdown last night. Appreciate all the knowledge and insight. Hey, man, I love to see it when our community wins, and our community's been winning an awful lot the last week or two that this season has been running. In Rainmakers, in Showdown, we had a Millionaire Maker winner on FanDuel last week. Absolutely fabulous, and I absolutely love to see it. So if you guys want to take part in our fundraiser this year, we are trying to raise $50,000 from the community for No Kid Hungry. They are a fund that provides school breakfast and school lunches, as well as at-home care to food insecure kids across the United States. Every single dollar helps. If you got $1, if you've got $50, if you've got $5, it does not matter. It all adds up. Our community is really large, and our community has the ability to play daily fantasy and has that expendable income. So if you got just $5, $10, $20 that you could donate to a really, really, really worthy cause that's going to help kids across the United States, that would be great. Also, as an added incentive, for every $10,000 that you guys hit as a community, I will be matching $10,000 up to $50,000. So if you can raise $50,000 as a community, I will donate $50,000 myself, bringing us to $100,000 for No Kid Hungry this year. Be a part of something bigger than yourself, and let's get there together. Best cheap wide receivers on the slate. There are none. There's none. There's nothing there at all. I am not even joking, right? I am not joking. Do I trust any New England wide receivers other than Myers if Ravens secondary is trash? Trust is a strong word. I don't know that I trust any of them. Myers is the best one on volume. Parker and Aguilar can get there if they score a touchdown, but it might take a spectacular catch like we saw from him last week. Aguilar is a dart. Exactly my point. The wide receivers outside of Jacoby Myers on New Orleans are merely dart throws, and I don't entertain dart throws as much. Juwan Johnson versus Dortch raw points. Juwan Johnson is running a really, really good amount of routes. He is a wide receiver converted to play tight end. They are utilizing him as a pass catcher. I think Dortch has a higher projection. I believe he has a higher projection as he is higher on the target tree than Juwan Johnson will be. Born not a thing anymore. Like, they're all the same. Past Myers, they're all the same. It's Myers. It's an old Motown singing group. It's Myers and the guys. And nobody knows which guy is going to be in the back doing that little dance move as a backup singer, but they're all backup singers. Every one of them. Not one of them is the main guy. None of them get a solo. Anyone else loving Olave this week? Probably everybody after his, 300 plus air yards in week 2, which makes it a great time to go somewhere else on New Orleans. If everybody's going to play one guy on a team of guys, play the other guy. Would I play Irv Smith and Cook together in cash? Yeah, I'm not against that. Irv Smith is fine. So like it's a situation where Irv Smith is too cheap and projects really good on volume. And because he projects really well on volume, then we need to just take that value. And then if you have the money, although I don't think people are going to pay up in cash for a running back this week. I think that everybody's going to be between 5,000 and 6,500. You got a Goff in your free pack and you get a Sun God for $23. Start building like that. Rainmakers. That's pretty much it. Who else did you get in your free pack, G Hendy? Yeah, nobody's paying for running backs and cashes. So like if you're paying up for Cook, you're getting Contrarian somewhere else. I don't know that there are cheap wide receivers to warrant doing that. I don't think that they're there. I could be wrong. I just don't think that they're there yet. But anything can happen. Friday practice reports can come out. All of a sudden, all 3 Buccaneers wide receivers could be out and Brett Perriman's 3,900. Right? Or maybe Pierce isn't ready to go and Doolin's 3,900. Zay Jones at 4K looks like probably the best guy, right? But he's not great from a volume perspective. None of them are like easy plug and play smash guys. So it just kind of, some guys are just there, and I think that all the value guys are just there. I think that this is a balanced lineup week while paying up at quarterback in cash, as we dictated earlier. Hopefully Dortch or whatever. Yeah, Dortch is fine, but he's priced up to 4,300, but he is the one that projects for the most value. Right now, he's probably the lowest I would go in terms of a comfortable wide receiver who would be cash game eligible. Any word if Renfro's going to play? We won't know. We won't know until. We're going to find out who practices on Friday. That's going to dictate who we're going to, if players don't practice on Friday, it's like 95% that they're not going to play on Sunday. That's just typically the way that goes. Sometimes guys don't practice Friday and then they do play on Sunday, but it's rare. If you miss Friday's practice in its entirety for an injury, that's the walkthrough. You're just not playing. You're just not playing on Sunday. And even if a guy practices on Friday, like Gabe Davis has practiced on Wednesday and Thursday, but like he may not play this Sunday. So he's a big if-then statement. Now, if Gabe Davis is out, then Kumaro is 3K, and he probably goes in as your cash game wide receiver at 3K because he will play 60 snaps in a Josh Allen-led offense. And if he gets 4 catches for 40 yards, that's more than enough. to allow you to squeeze one more superstar into a lineup that has a high floor and a high ceiling. And if he ever wanders into the painted area, it's pure profit. Do I like Dortch or Olave and Cash? Neither right now. Gabe is playing. We don't know that yet, Sharon. The beats are not sure yet. If he plays, awesome. If he's playing, he's a play, and we know exactly where everything is. But you have to set up your if-then statements to be ready in case news breaks or when news breaks, to be able to put yourself in those situations. Would I play Montgomery with Pierce for salary relief this week? So like Montgomery, in what? In cash? Montgomery's going to be like one of the most popular running backs on the slate. He is 100% going to be in cash. Our Rainmaker contest free to enter because cards cost. So yes, you can enter as long as you have the cards to enter a lineup on Rainmakers, you can play. Welcome to the chat. That's your first time chatting, D says. Thank you for being a part of the show. Says Beasley could play against the Pack. Gross. Exactly. The Buccaneers wide receiver situation this week is really, really ugly. It's not great. You know, it's not a great place to be right. When you realize that NFT stands for non-fungible token and the Rainmakers cards are NFTs and the cards are the tokens to play Rainmakers, it is. That's what it is. It's exactly where we're at. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the show. I appreciate you being here. Best of luck this weekend. Make sure that you get into the Listener League, smizzle.tv/links, and look out for the videos on Saturday. 5 Under 5 comes out tomorrow. And join the Discord because that is the best way to get usage out of your Twitch sub or your channel membership on YouTube. You got to join the Discord. Everything is in the links, in the link tree, smizzle.tv/links. I'll catch up to you guys later. Bye. He's a legend.